Achilandasya Gyanam Janam Salakaya Shaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutali Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I visons il utel that Vaishnav die when they are still living in sand. Vaishnav dies to live, and while living tries to spread the holy name around. So, dear Maharaj, dear brothers, sisters, and wonderful family of Vaishnav, this is a very special mood, the mood of Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day. It's a mood of mixed emotion, bitter and sweet. And by listening to the wonderful brothers, after separation comes meeting. And the mood was very much in meeting, remembering Srila Prabhupada when he was present on the planet. So in Yadu Bharat Prabhu's film, we remember that at one point, Srila Prabhupada had a very severe heart attack. And he told the devotees, I have been given a warning, and I'm already an old man. And he explained to the devotees, one time will come when he will leave the planet. But he said, I will be chanting Hare Krishna here, and you will be chanting Hare Krishna there. And it's not going to be any separation. The sound vibration will circulate all over the universe. So at the time, none of us would think, although it seems crazy, nobody will think Srila Prabhupada would ever leave the planet. And every disciple or everybody who knew Srila Prabhupada at this time remembers where he was when he heard Srila Prabhupada left the planet. It's like in the material world, when we heard about the attack in New York of the Twin Towers, everybody remembers where he was. But for us devotees, when Srila Prabhupada left the planet where the news came, we could never forget. And we felt like complete orphans. We didn't know what was going to happen to us individually. We didn't know what was going to happen to the movement. It was a very, very special time. So this morning, because we had such a wonderful family and all the brothers and sisters, and Srila Prabhupada grandchildren are there, I wanted to share something personal, showing that Srila Prabhupada is still very, very present. So this morning, I was in Maya, like our dear brother Shruti Kirti said. For the opposite reason, I didn't go to Mongol Arctic. I felt sick and I didn't go. So when I got up, I thought, am I going to be up to that special celebration, to that special event today? Will I meet Srila Prabhupada today? And I went to the temple, and all of a sudden, Srila Prabhupada, the Prabhupada's Murti, was on his Vyasasana. He was actually coming out of the temple. The day before, same thing happened. We didn't know where Srila Prabhupada was going. Somebody told us he's going on parikrama. But at that time, I felt, yes, Srila Prabhupada is there for that special day. He's calling me. He's responding. So I started to run after Srila Prabhupada, and he was so present in his murti. And one Prabhu from one of you said, "Oh, Mataji, it's so encouraging. You are still running after Srila Prabhupada." And then coming to the main hall where the celebration was going to take place, I became overwhelmed by a feeling of shame and guilt. I felt I've been I met Srila Prabhupada almost 50 years ago, when the day where Sri Sri Radhanandanishvara got installed in London. And I looked at Srila Prabhupada and I felt, why I'm not more advanced? You know, why I've wasted time? Why didn't I practice more sincerely, more fully? Already almost 50 years, and I'm not fully tasting, you know, the bliss of the holy name, or maybe not giving as much as I could. And I could feel Srila Prabhupada's presence and kind concern. And I remember a lecture by Radhanath Swami. Radhanath Swami was saying, so maybe you have been 50 years in the movement, but you can still be ashamed. You know, you didn't reach, Prabhupada gave us everything. He gave us all the tools, all the mercy, but you didn't take it as fully enough. And even you said, even if you did for 50 years, to become humble, just remember what you were doing 51 years ago. You know, so that was very powerful. So then we came to the main hall, and devotees were giving beautiful talks, but I couldn't stay very long because I had to be with the Russian devotee of the School of Bhakti, and Shanananda Swami came also. Maharaj Radhanath Swami gave a very concise, beautiful glorification of Srila Prabhupada, expressing how everything in this movement became manifested by the desire, the pure desire of the pure devotee. First, let's see. So first, you said that Srila Prabhupada, now I will go to the conclusion first. The conclusion is that all of us, we actually came by the desire of Srila Prabhupada. And then you gave a few examples. You gave the example of Srila Prabhupada being at Radha Damodar and studying all the commentaries of all the Acharya. And how Srila Prabhupada wanted to actually summarize these beautiful commentaries and to express them in a language that all the world could understand. And now Srimad Bhagavatam is translated all over the world, and all the literature in more than 80 languages. How Srila Prabhupada, in one of the last commentary he gave on the Srimad Bhagavatam, said there was an empty land in Vrindavan, and he was wishing that there will be a temple, and that became Krishna Balaram temple by his pure desire. Now so many of us coming from all over the world are here in Krishna Balaram temple, getting entrance to the holy Dham, to the sacred land of Vrindavan, not only entrance physically, but especially entrance through hearing. So that was very, very enlivening. Then this morning, with the Russian devotees, it was not planned, but I felt the urge of sharing something about the glories of Srila Prabhupada, and if you don't mind, I will try to share with you. That came from one book. It was actually a book made after the installation of Panchatattva in Mayapur. We recently had the installation of Panchatattva in Omsk, in the depths of Siberia, in the snow of Siberia. And in order to prepare for that installation, I was reading this book. And there was the most amazing introduction. It was an introduction made by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami. And that introduction had an history. Tamal Krishna Goswami was undergoing a surgery operation. And he was going to go through anesthesia. Then he was told to count until 10. So he started to count 10, 9, 8, or maybe the other way around. So when he came to the number 7, he lost consciousness. And then he had the most amazing dream. When he regained consciousness, he went to his room. Srila Prabhupada was there. Srila Prabhupada was actually worrying because Tamal Krishna Goswami had decided to be operated in India. He felt more comfortable. But Srila Prabhupada was thinking, maybe in India, it's not so good, so performant than in America. So he was near Tamal Krishna Goswami, caring for him. And Tamal Krishna Goswami told Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I had a dream, can I tell you? Then he said, yes, you can tell me. And the dream was that the whole Panchatattva was there, and our whole Guru Parampara, and all our great Acharya. And Srila Prabhupada was coming to them, and they were actually asking Srila Prabhupada a report on his Sankirtan mission. And Prabhupada gave a report of the ISKCON movement, the Sankirtan mission. And Srila Prabhupada looked at him and he says, that is correct. And they gave life to that beautiful introduction. And that introduction is actually one of the best glorification of Srila Prabhupada. Krishna bless you. And then, Tamal Krishna Goswami was very expert in doing drama. So the story is a little dramatized. I don't have the book with me, so I may forget some things, but maybe Maharaj will remember because you wrote something about the book. It starts with Lord Chaitanya being with his associate, the Panchatattva, and all Guru Parampara, and all our great Vaishnavacharya. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya is actually lamenting because he's looking at this material world at a time when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur left this world. And the Harinam Sankirtan mission is going down. Often when great Acharya leave the world, there is a setback. So he's lamenting, he's saying, I came and I became a gardener. I became a gardener and I grew the beautiful fruits of love of Krishna, Krishna Prem. But I have only 2 hands. What can I do alone? I need help to distribute these fruits. And maybe some people will escape the net I built, I didn't want anybody to escape, love of Krishna. And he was lamenting in this way. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked his son, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but you made so many disciples, what happened? Nobody went to spread the mission all over the world? And then, if I remember correctly, Haridas Thakur, who was there also, said, "My Lord, you put yourself under Yoga Maya, but you know everything. You know that Abhay Charan is actually now in the same place in India where all Rupa Goswami and the 6 Goswamis were actually meeting to speak about the glories of the Lord. And he's getting ready to fulfill your mission." Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, interrogated by Lord Chaitanya, started to talk. He says, "Yes, you know everything, my Lord. You made A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami be born into an aristocratic family. And he was, his father already gave him all he needed to be fully Krishna conscious. And when we met in Calcutta, at our first meeting, I asked him to go and spread your mission in the Western world, English-speaking country. Later on, we met again at Radhakund, and I told him, if you ever get money, print books. I told him our Gaudiya Math society was in fire. There was not the same enthusiasm and purity as in the beginning. And he said, later on, you made what is only possible for you to make, although he was born in an aristocratic family and a devotional family. He should have had a very peaceful life, a devotional life without any problems. You just made his business fail, and you made him lose attachment for family life. We all remember that blessed day when Srila Prabhupada's wife took some pages of the Bhagavatam and she went to sell either the Bhagavatam or some pages in order to get some money to buy some cookies for the tea. And then Prabhupada became very angry and he asked her, now you have to choose between the tea and me. And as Prabhupada later said she was a very good wife. But as a lady, a married lady, sometimes she wanted to test the limits of her husband. So in a very feminine way, she said, well, I'll choose the tea. But then next morning, Srila Prabhupada was gone. And we really offer Dandavat Pranam to that lady to have chosen the tea. because we are eternally indebted to her. She chose the tea. And then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur went on saying, I came to his dream and I told him to take sannyas many times. First, Srila Prabhupada told us, oh, I thought it was horrible. What an horrible dream. But then his master came again, and then he finally took sannyas. And at that time, he was getting ready. He was at Radha Damodar translating the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Meanwhile, when the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam got completed. And Srila Prabhupada went to the house of Advaita Acharya. That's a beautiful pastime. He used to go to the house of Advaita Acharya since the years 50s. At the time, he was dressed as a Vaishnava Bengali gentleman, householder in white. And he was coming to the back of the temple, the place we can now see the seats of Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Lord Chaitanya. And he was chanting and praying and crying. He was coming maybe every month. For some time, the Pujari didn't see him. But later on, he saw a sannyasi Bengali Vaishnav coming, going to the same place, and praying and crying, and be very, very absorbed. And he recognized the person who came in as a householder before. So the time he came to him, and he said, may I ask you, dear Maharaj, what are you praying for so intensely? And that Vaishnav sannyasi told him, actually, my spiritual master gave me an impossible task to fulfill. And now I'm about to try to fulfill that task. That's why I'm praying to Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Lord Chaitanya. Because here they met and they were planning the Sankirtan movement. So he never saw him again. But one time, he was getting old. He came out, he heard a beautiful kirtan, very melodious. And although he couldn't run very much, he rushed out of the door to see who was singing such a beautiful kirtan on the road. And he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Actually, they were Vaishnav and Vaishnavi. So dhoti, sari, tilak, shika. But their skin was white. Just he couldn't believe it. And he was understanding the prophecy of Bhaktivinoda is coming true. So he rushed to them, but they couldn't talk Bengali, and he couldn't talk English. They gave him a magazine. And he couldn't read English, but he opened it. And then he saw the picture of his old friend, the Vaishnav sannyasi, who came to pray at the back of the house of Advaita Acharya. And then he understood, oh, my friend has succeeded in fulfilling the impossible dream his spiritual master, the impossible task his spiritual master had ordered him to do. So, but how did Srila Prabhupada succeed in fulfilling this impossible task? Let us come back in the association of Panchatattva and all the Acharya and all the wonderful companions of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya said, I want all of you to empower and give blessing to Swami Bhaktivedanta to fulfill this extraordinary mission. He asked Advaita Acharya to give the full blessing. So Advaita Acharya was saying, actually, my Lord, you are coming only once in the day of Brahma and waiting for your next coming. So many people are going to suffer and in the pangs of material nature. So I want to empower A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami to actually give these fruits of love of God so they don't have to wait for your next apparition in the day of Brahma. So all the devotees were very, very joyful by this blessing, and they all, with one voice, said, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. they bless Srila Prabhupada. So after, he asked Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, I give the blessing that nobody will be too fallen to take up the message of love of God as given by Abhay Charande. And again, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. It was another blessing. Then Lord Chaitanya turned to his beloved Gadadhar. And Gadadhar said, actually, when I was very old, my Lord Tota Gopinath, who was standing seated on the floor, so I could still worship him, but still some people are stone-hearted. They think that the deity of the Lord is made out of stone. So I give the blessing to S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami to actually melt the heart of these heart-stoned people. So everybody was going again, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. And everybody was talking like that. Srivas, who was Narada Muni, gave the blessing to Srila Prabhupada to be able to travel. He said, my Lord, you gave me the possibility to travel all over the universe. I give you the blessing. I give Abhay Charande the blessing to actually travel to all the countries and cities of the world and enlighten people. Everybody was very, very, very joyful. Then there was also Raghunath Das. The six Goswami gave blessings. Raghunath Das said, my Lord, you have made me detached for family life. And you also have made the servant of Saraswati detached for family life. But by doing so, you have given me the burning fire of separation. Please give the dear servant of Saraswati, the burning fire of separation from you. And again, the blessing was joyfully approved by everyone. Sanatan Goswami gave the blessing that Srila Prabhupada would show extraordinary Vaishnava conduct, and then people will follow his example. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj also gave a blessing. He said, my Lord, may the dear servant of Saraswati be able to describe your beautiful pastime and teaching as I did in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and may be able actually to spread it all over this material universe, in all the different languages of the world. So this was approved, and the devotees became more and more joyful. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also gave some blessing. He said, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, for decades, had read my commentary about the conjugal affairs in Srimad Bhagavatam, the conjugal affairs of Radha and Krishna. So I give him the blessing that he can translate this, he can actually give people the essence of these conjugal affairs so that they will be completely free from material lusty desires. So that was already also very much approved. He turned to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He said, Bhattacharya, you are a master in the 6 philosophies. What blessing are you going to give to S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave the blessing that he will eradicate voidism and impersonalism. So what is actually wonderful is that they gave their own contribution, unique qualities, unique contribution to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada became the recipient of the qualities of all our parampara, of all our wonderful acharya. So after Lord Chaitanya finally turned to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and he said, you see, nobody in the world has ever received such a blessing. They are very, very heavy blessings. Can you bless him so he can hold this blessing? He can integrate them and hold them. So Nityananda said, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. And the devotees were just jumping in ecstasy. At one point, Haridas Thakur said, but there is someone in the assembly who didn't give a blessing. So everybody looked at each other, and they didn't know who it was. But Advaita Acharya understood. And he turned to Lord Chaitanya. He said, my Lord, you didn't say anything. If you don't say anything, this cannot come into being. So Lord Chaitanya said, so be it. And then everybody went into a very, very ecstatic kirtan. So I just, when I first read this introduction, I was completely overwhelmed. It was so evident, so true, that Srila Prabhupada was the full recipient of all the unique qualities of our wonderful Guru Parampara, of the Panchatattva. And one last thing to meditate upon is the extraordinary love of Srila Prabhupada for his followers. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is not only for his direct disciples, is for everybody here, all the followers of his movement. One time it was the appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he said that you can especially pray to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta today, because the grandfather is kinder than the father. The father has to chastise, when Maharaj was describing how Lord Krishna crushed the false ego of Indra into fine powder. It is actually also the duty of the spiritual master and its great blessing. But the grandfather doesn't have to chastise. It just gives love. So a few examples of this love. One example was when the first disciples came to India. They were everybody was very poor, and it was hardly any fruits to eat, what to speak of sweets. You know, there was very, very little money. And being very, very untrained and in a way uncivilized, some of the devotees stole from the shopkeepers in Lloyd Bazaar. And then the shopkeepers came to Srila Prabhupada and to complain, what are they doing that? If they asked, we would have given them. But Prabhupada was taking the blame for his beloved disciples, despite all their mistakes. And he said, oh, you have to forgive them. They are very untrained. They are like monkeys. You know? But Prabhupada was such the perfect example of ethical conduct, had to take the blame for his disciples. About Malati Prabhu, he said, I'm chastising her all the time, but she will slit her throat for me, so do I. And one example also of his love was given when it was almost the last days of Srila Prabhupada on this earth planet. One of his most exalted god brother came, and it was one god brother who never accepted prasadam cooked by the Western devotees, what to speak of lady devotees. And he asked Srila Prabhupada, what can I do for you? And Srila Prabhupada did a few pastimes in this answer, but he told him, yes, you can do something for me. You can accept prasadam from the hand of my devotee. And that exalted Vaishnava accepted prasadam. So it's like Prabhupada was almost leaving the world, but he was thinking of his disciples to have them accepted as a true Vaishnava by the most exalted Vaishnava of Vrindavan. So that is Srila Prabhupada. And it's actually when, I forgot when Raghunath Das, no, it was actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he talked about his dear disciple, he said he took sannyas, and now he has left his family, and the whole humanity is his family. So that Srila Prabhupada, the whole world, the whole humanity is his family. And as Srila Prabhupada very, very humbly was saying when he came for the first, when he first came to America in Boston, then he wrote that beautiful poem. He was very humbly telling Lord Krishna, I have no qualification, but if you have brought me here, my Lord, you must have some business. So please, my Lord, let me become your instrument. Let me become a puppet in your hands. And please, make me dance like a puppet. Make me dance, make me dance. So he's dancing, he danced, and he's still dancing very beautifully through all his followers, our wonderful spiritual leaders, and all of you. So now we can all pray to become instruments in Srila Prabhupada's mission under the care of our wonderful, spiritual teachers and caretakers. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.